pretty bad when you have to drink coffee at 6 o'clock at night to stay warm.
Turn up the heat.
Oh, no. All right, everyone. This is the City of St. Mary's City Council meeting for November 2nd, 2020. Welcome to our citizens and our council and Madam Clerk and our staff. And Madam Clerk, if you would take the roster for us, make sure we have a quorum.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
You're here.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Present.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Present.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Present.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Present.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Present.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, we have a quorum. Thank you, everyone. We had the pleasure of having Council Member Alan Rassi give us the invocation today. Alan?
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us. I ask you, Lord Jesus, that you guide us tonight as we do the city's business. Help us, oh Lord, to work together for the betterment of our community and our county. I ask, dear Lord, that you would guide and protect the police, fire, and public works departments and all the other city department employees as they serve and protect all of our citizens of St. Mary's. I ask, Lord, that you would also be with the men and women of the armed services who serve and defend our country. Lord, I ask that you would be with the elections going on locally, statewide, and nationally tomorrow. Guide and lead us to honor you and keep everyone safe. Lord, we ask that you would guide us as we serve you and give our best to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gant, would you lead us in the pledge? Mr. Gant, you got to take it off mute.
Okay, let me start again.
All
I
right.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it's formed, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Madam Clerk, you going to do the roll call again?
You want me to do it again, sir? I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I did. I was early, but let's do it again for the official agenda.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
You're here.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Here.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Present.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Present.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Present.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Present.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, my apologies. We had gone out of order before, but so we have a quorum. Thank you, Council, for
Yes, sir.
being patient with me. All right, I need a motion for the approval of the minutes for October 5th, 2020.
So moved. So moved.
Okay, well, did I hear Mr. Jones or Mr. Rassi?
I think I was first.
All right, Mr. Jones, could I have a second from?
Mr. Rassi.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, if you'll run the roster.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Present. Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey?
All right, Madam Clerk, let's please mark it as unanimous. Okay, we're down into presentations, everyone, and there is a board announcement. The Joint Development Authority is seeking a representative from the City of St. Mary's, and I believe, Council, that we need a month. So, Madam Clerk, we probably vote on this the first or second meeting in December, just to be clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good. So we would encourage anyone that is interested in the Joint Development Authority position. You can apply online. If you have any questions, our city clerk, Deborah Walker-Reed, will be happy to help you. Thank you. All right. Just board appointments. Now we have historic preservation, and there is an application here that was designed and has multiple requests for positions. One happens to be, it says historic presentation, planning commission, and community development. So I don't know if you would, Council, if you want to vote on that or if you want to solicit additional applications.
Mayor, if she wanted, I'd say let her have it.
All right, so, you making a motion, Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir, I make a motion that we accept it.
All right, and I think do we have to do that, Ms. Walker-Reed, or do we vote?
Yes, sir. You have to have a motion in a second. Yes, sir, to appoint. Yes.
Okay, all right, so, can I have a second?
Well, I'll second, but I've got a question.
All
How
right.
can we vote?
Okay.
How can we have this applicant apply for 3 different positions? Doesn't she have to say one or the other?
Well, that's, okay. Yeah, before
Well, I thought we were
we
talking
go
about
into,
historical.
no, the application that is in the document, she has 3, she calls it historic presentation, planning commission, and community development. So the only thing I could think of is perhaps an inquiry to the citizen who's interested in it, and maybe she give me more precise with the application, and then you vote on it again at the next meeting.
Yeah, she did. I've spoken with her, and she submitted a letter to you all, which should be at the top, on the top of the application. She is interested in a historic preservation commission.
Okay.
She had put in for another one previously. If you see when her application was dated, she was interested. She felt her skill set was for several of the different boards, and so she kind of put it in early in case any of them came available.
All right.
So,
Okay.
so we're voting for the historical commission.
Right.
Yes, sir. That's one that has an opening. Yes.
Okay, any other further questions about Historic Preservation Commission candidate? Or the voting? Okay, all right, I take it we're ready to vote then, Madam Clerk. If you will take the roster on that, please.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilman Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilman Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilman Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, if you record that as unanimous, and thank you, Council. And of course, the other position that we have open is the Oak Grove Cemetery Authority, and again, the same request as any citizen that's interested, please contact the clerk and she can help you with the form if you'd like to be a member of the Oak Grove Cemetery Authority. And so now we're going to move to report of the authorities, boards, and commissions and committees. And we have a finance director's report from Ms. Brown, who's on the line with us.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Tonight you have
How are
your
you?
September the 30th. I'm good. Your September 30th of 2020 financial report. Just wondering if y'all had any questions on the report itself.
My only question is that the revenues will start showing up in the end of October report? The tax revenues?
Yes. We
Okay.
billed taxes, and so we are getting some payments in on that. Those are due on December the 16th. We also got our insurance premium tax on October the 15th. It was, I want to say 1.3 million, but don't quote me exactly on that, but it was about 200,000 over what we had originally budgeted, which is a positive for the city.
Excellent. And they will both, okay. They will both go in the general fund.
That's correct, sir.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? All right, Madam Clerk, or excuse me, Ms. Brown, we look forward to next month's report and see how our revenues are holding up.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Have a good evening. All right, Council, we've got your agendas there. I'd like to set the consent agenda. And the first item I should say we have no old business. So if I could, under new business, the first item A is the Georgia Emergency Management Agency statewide mutual aid and assistance agreement. And this is a re-up.
Consent.
Okay. The next is item B, is the St. Mary's Senior Center Nutritional Meals Program contract.
Consent.
Okay. Item C, budget ordinance amendment FY 2021 general fund for the temporary front door personnel.
Consent.
And the minor subdivision request for 206 West Hall Street by Jeff Foster.
Consent.
Consent.
Reverse subdivision request for 405 and 407 Galley Lane by Jeff Foster.
Consent.
The rezoning request for 4568 Georgia Highway 40 East from C2 to C3 to Jack L. Gross.
I would like to discuss briefly.
Yes, sir. Item G, rezoning request for 600 Finley Street from IL to C2.
Consent.
Consent.
Alice Chapman. Okay. And the ordinance amendment, chapter 110, zoning for military installation, land use notification.
Consent.
St. Mary's Municipal Court probation, supervision, and rehabilitation services contract renewal.
Consent.
Consent.
St. Mary's former airport site lease proposal for 70 industrial acres.
I think we should discuss that.
Discuss.
All right. Okay. So I have a consent agenda that consists of item A, item B, item C, item D, item E, then item G, item H, and item I. Could I have a motion on that?
Mayor, make a motion to approve the consent as read.
All right, I got
Riley.
Mr. Riley on that. How about a second then?
Second.
All right, Mr. Jones. All right, any discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, would you run the agenda or run the
Yes, sir.
roster?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilman Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilman Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, please mark that as unanimous. Thank you, Council. And now I need a motion for approval of the agenda from someone.
Move to approve the agenda as announced.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Who's second, please?
I'll second.
All right, that's Mr. Gant. All right, Madam, any questions? Madam Clerk, you want to run the agenda? Or here I go again. We'll run the roster, please.
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rathby, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, if you mark that as unanimous, thanks again, Council. All right, Madam Clerk, granting audience to the public, can you tell us if there's anyone on the roster?
No, sir. We have no one that has signed up.
All right, Council, there's no old business. And under new business, we have 2 items to discuss, item F and item J. And so item F, I believe, Mr. Gant, you had a question?
Well, I just note that the access to this proposed development is off of State Road 40. And I just was inquiring as to the procedure to get GDOT to approve acceleration, deceleration lanes so that you're not coming straight out into the traffic. But we're approving the rezoning, that's fine. But I just want to know the procedure to see where the state has to weigh in on whether or not there needs to be deceleration lanes, acceleration lanes as part of this development.
Okay. Mr. Horton, you're on, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
Yeah.
Can you hear
you
me?
want to speak to it, or Mr. Marr or Mr. Hughes, whoever's?
I think Mr. Hughes is online.
Yes,
Kenneth,
sir.
you on?
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Speak to that, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Gant, the process for GDOT looking at this will take place before there is building permitting done. So we will require the driveway permit to be in hand. And so when it's submitted to GDOT, GDOT will take a look at what kind of traffic generation will come from it. And using the GDOT manual, they'll be able to delineate whether or not it requires the acceleration or deceleration lanes. And, you know, it's going to be kind of on the brink here because we're only talking about 8 apartments total.
But we're exiting and entering on a major highway. So do you have a guess as to whether or not there will be those lanes? Or I guess you said probably not.
I wouldn't feel comfortable making a guess.
Okay.
Well,
Well, that's good.
I think that's a good question, Jim.
Yeah, I see so many places being developed where there's not the proper concern for traffic effects and adverse effects. This one could be one, certainly during rush hour when the traffic is really moving. And as we grow, this kind of thing becomes very important. It's just a little an improvement over just a direct input into the traffic lane, but that deceleration, acceleration lane is very important for so many different developments that's going to come along. So I think we just need to get it right, and of course the state has to get it right. But we'll know what they've decided, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That'll have to be in hand in order for us to do any building permits. The only thing, you know, I kind of, you know, as to the thought process here, is that if it were to be made a condition or something, that could make the project unbuildable financially, since we're talking about a low number of apartments.
Yeah, but I agree with Jim on this. The deceleration lane would probably not be a problem, but the acceleration lane, you got about 150 feet before you get to a railroad track.
It seems like a little thing, but we have to set some kind of I don't want to say standard, because that's not it, but some kind of a indication that we're going to treat traffic impacts seriously. And of course, and this is kind of out of our hands, but I think we definitely need to have some say with the state on what goes there.
Okay. All right. I did have a question, Kenneth. It appears the properties on either side are single-family home.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so the zoning in that whole location would allow this type of building, right? Regardless.
I'm not sure what you mean, sir.
Well, I mean, are the lots on either side zoned such that they could be turned into an apartment lots also?
The ones to the north and to the east, I believe so. The ones to the west are actually in the county.
Oh, okay.
I'm not familiar with what the county zoning is there.
Yeah, because I do think that the deceleration, acceleration lanes you speak of, Mr. Gant, were put in by Brant Creek. If I'm not incorrect, Mr. Hughes, so
I think you're correct.
but they have a significant number of homeowners, or rather citizens that live there, residents. So I don't know what the formula is for GDOT to make a determination. It would be interesting if we could get something like that, so we could maybe anticipate some questions and some answers for council. Yeah, I'm just looking at your pictures, Mr. Hughes. There is some lane access there at Brant Creek entrance, but it is, I mean, that's a considerable development compared to this. So I just don't.
Yeah, every little bit hurts or helps. So yes, it's much smaller than Brent Creek, and Brent Creek would definitely need acceleration, deceleration lanes. I'm not sure about this, but we want to make sure it's looked at, and a specific determination is made by Georgia DOT.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, Kenneth,
the requirements, looking here at CDOT, you would have to have more than 75 round trip right turns per day for them to require it. And so you're not going to get that kind of volume off of 8 apartments.
you said you have to have 75 right turns per day?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's one of the criteria?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I don't think we should be making that determination, but I think the GDOT needs to do that, and we need to make sure before we give a building permit that it was looked at and part of the record.
And Mr. Gant, if I may, I'm sorry to interrupt, but yes, GDOT will see it and will review it before permits are made.
Good.
Okay. Anyone else? Good questions? Good development? Mr. Hughes, we are interested in what the elevations might be, and when they start going through the planning commission, maybe if you could possibly share them with council, that would be great.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, could I have a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept Alan Rassy.
Mr. Rassy, how about a second?
Riley. Second, Riley.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, can you run the roster, please?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassy, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, if you'd mark that as unanimous, and thank you, good discussion. Thank you, Council. Now, the other item is St. Mary's former airport site lease proposal, and was that you, Mr. Gant, that had a question?
Yes, well, I'd like to just tee it up, maybe by the city manager, as to what this is for. I know what it's for, but it's not bad to reiterate what it's for, and it's good news.
Okay, Mayor, I know how you like when we have guests on the phone. We do have Mr. Coughlin on the phone if we need him. But
I am sorry, I did not know that, and he is, yeah, you and Mr. Coughlin, however you'd like to work the response, is great.
Well, how about if I take the lead, and if I forget something, he can pick it up?
Leave it to you.
This is for the northern part of the airport property, or the north runway, if you will, north 70 acres. This is for the aquaponics. This is basically it's reinstating the agreement that we had with JDA for the former tenant that they had that never developed. This one, JDA is requesting to do the same thing we had done previously. We will be leasing it to them, and they will be subleasing it out for aquaponics.
Okay. All right. Any questions, Council?
Robbie,
okay.
Excuse me, I do have one question, and it may be for Mr. Coughlin too. Do we have any time frame for making this happen?
Well, I thought it was going to be next week, but it's not. We are several months out on this. They are still mobilizing and moving and trying to make sure they've got all their ducks in a row. Initial operations will be ran out of the old hangar that is a part of this property that JDA owns. They'll set up their initial operations there, their office and their educational component, and start mobilizing from there. So we're probably looking at a little while before it builds out.
But a start is in the somewhat immediate future.
Mr. Coughlin, you got a time frame on that?
You know, Robbie, you hit it on the head. In fact, I didn't think there was much more I could add, but you're right. In the next few months, first quarter 21, they're telling us they'd like to go ahead and start with their presence in the old hangar building that we lease from a private party that's adjacent to your airport property. And then once they get established, get all their equipment set up and all that, then however long that takes, which I'm guessing will be at least 6 months, they'll start with a small presence on the airport site, that 70 acres, and then expand over the next couple of years. I think initially they're only going to have a footprint of about 10 acres. But, you know, since that entire section is zoned for light industrial, we thought it would be good to go ahead and do the lease for the whole section of it and give them room to expand as needed.
Well, it's another exciting progress here in St. Mary's, and I know that the public would like to be kept informed like we're doing about this new initiative. Very good initiative.
Yeah. And I think, James, at some point in time when this is further along and maybe they've got an initial established operation of some sort, maybe a visit by the firm to the city with some kind of PowerPoint or some sort of a short presentation about what their business is about, how it works, would be great. Inform the public.
I think that, yeah, I think that would be good because they really do see this as, like Robbie mentioned, it'll have an educational component, and they hope to bring folks down from other areas and teach them about aquaponics, and so they want it to be something attractive. So I think you'll be pleased. So when they're ready, we'll bring that to council.
All right. Thank you, sir. Excuse me. Anyone else? All right. Could I have a motion to accept?
I move to accept.
Mr. Gant, how about a second? Ms.
Second.
Williams? Right. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And Madam Clerk, could you run the roster?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilman Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilman Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey.
All right, Madam Clerk, thank you. Council, please mark that as unanimous. Mr. Horton, we've got a report of the city manager.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Just to bring everybody up to speed, just a reminder, City Council, your top 10 priorities for the upcoming year are due. If you don't mind getting those to us as quickly as possible, we certainly would appreciate it. If you haven't, if you already have, thank you very much. These are for the retreat on November 19th and 20th at Honey Creek. The retreat will be open in person and virtually. More details will be coming out over the next couple of weeks as we finalize the final details on that. Good news, starting on Wednesday of this week, our library will be having a limited opening or a soft opening to the general public from 10 to 4 every day. Only 10 patrons will be allowed in the building at a time and for only 30 minutes each. Certain areas of the library will not be accessible and all COVID measures will be followed. This includes mask, temperature checks, sanitizer, and social distancing. More detailed information can be found on the city website, and that should be published sometime tomorrow. The RFPs are all due on November 17th. That's the camera system, which is being funded through the CARES Act. The city building improvements, which is also being funded through the CARES Act. Orange Hall Fire Sprinkler System, which is being funded through SPLOST. The St. Mary's Gateway Marina Project, which is being funded through the BIG grant, and the water wastewater treatment plant operations contract, which is funded through water and sewer. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report for this evening.
That's a very busy day, Mr. Horton.
No, sir, that's just a day or a couple hours in the life of us.
All right, good. Thank you very much for that. That's pretty exciting news. All right, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
We have granting audience to the public. Do we have any requests?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, so Madam Clerk, can we go to the court or to the calendar, please? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow on Tuesday, November 3rd, in council chambers at 2 o'clock, we have a pre-bid meeting regarding Orange Hall, and that is the fire protection system. On Wednesday, November 4th at 2 o'clock p.m., we'll have, in council chambers, we'll have the pre-bid meeting on the COVID-19 facilities. At 5 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, November 4th, we'll have the Development Authority of St. Mary's meeting in the Main Street office. On Thursday, November 5th at 2 o'clock, we'll have the tree board meeting. And the tree board meeting has been moved to the planning and building section of City Hall in their conference room. On Friday, November 6th at 9 o'clock a.m., we have the St. Mary's Municipal Court, plea and arraignments in council chambers. On Monday, November 9th at 8:30 a.m., we have the Downtown Development Authority meeting in the Main Street office. On Tuesday, November 10th at 6 o'clock p.m., the Stormwater Enterprise Study Committee meeting has been canceled. On Thursday, November 12th at 9:30 a.m., we have the Orange Hall Management Committee meeting in council chambers. On Thursday, November 12th as well, we have the 5 o'clock p.m. St. Mary's Intercoastal Gateway meeting in the Main Street office. And on Monday, November 16th at 6 o'clock, we have the City Council meeting via teleconference.
All right, thank you very much. Lots going on. That's good things. All right, and council, why don't we start with Ms. Williams today, and if we have council comments?
Gosh, I'm looking forward to the bid opening for the sprinkler system for Orange Hall. And hopefully that will be the start of good things.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Rassi.
Yeah, I'd like to first and foremost thank our incredible city staff for dealing with all the COVID protocols and all that. They were an incredible group to come into. I came in today, and the way you have the screening set up now, and the way they take a picture of your face for your temperature, it's impressive technology you all have and are using to ensure that everyone remains safe. And boy, will I be glad when tomorrow's over. That's all I have for tonight.
Okay, Mr. Riley.
Yeah, the only thing I have is encourage everyone to continue to be safe and wear your mask. We're still, in fact, we're in a rising number of COVID cases, and we need to remember that's still with us and protect our neighbors by wearing the mask. Another way, stay warm. It's a little cold. So that's it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Gant.
Yeah, I guess I don't have much to say except I'm tired of the virus. For Halloween, we bought this big tub of candy for trick-or-treaters. We had one come by. So I got lots of candy to eat, and I don't need that candy, and I don't need the virus. So we all need to pray that it gets over with quickly and wear your mask.
Yes, sir. How about Mr. Goodman?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I'd like to make an ad hoc motion that after the meeting, we all mask up and go to Jim Gant's house and help our colleague out with this candy problem that he has. I make a motion and I second it. Yes.
Jim, I will bring that over. I'll bring the whole tub over to your place.
No, thank you. I appreciate the offer. I don't need it. I really want to commend the city workers who did the edging on the sidewalks and the curbs and gutters on our approaches to the schools and to the town itself. And I know it's not completed yet, and I am very, very sorry that there was an accident. I'm very thankful that no personnel, as far as I know, were injured. I do at the same time want them to continue to work safely. And I would like to ask Robbie, please, if we could, just at the beginning of prior to next school term, and that's assuming that things are kind of normal again, let's hit those streets that approach the school and make sure that the kids don't have to deal with high grass. It looks wonderful. It's much safer. As you know, we have snakes going down through that Bagel area, and I just can't help but believe in the warmer weather that they'll be out, and this will help that situation. But it looks marvelous. It looks absolutely wonderful. We even got Kingsland to go in and do theirs too, if you'll notice, going toward Kingsland. And right now they're a little bit ahead of us out on the highway, so we need to catch up. But thank you so much. And I know your plate's full, Robbie, and the city staff have been busy with other things
but that was a priority and it needed taken care of. And I concur with what my colleagues have said about let's staying safe. And I'm glad to hear that the retreat is on virtual attendance, because that's how I'm going to have to do it, and for personal reasons. And I'm glad to hear that. Again, stay safe, and everybody continue to wear their mask. And Linda, thank you for the COVID reports. And, you know, I don't live in fear. I just live in caution of things. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor, and thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Mr. Jones.
Yes, Mayor, City Council. First of all, I want to commend all of our city workers for the job that they've been doing, and I concur with everything everybody said except Mr. Gant. If you have a lot of chocolates, I don't have to put on a mask. I'll be around to your house in a little while, and I'll get all you'll give me.
I got all kinds of Tootsie Rolls.
Okay, that'll work. And seriously, there was a parade Saturday, and I got a lot of calls from folks said that, you know, we had city workers and city equipment and thing in the parade, and I just wanted to let them know that that is not the fact. I called our city manager, and he immediately let me know what was going on. A parade was planned, but our city police department, I was told, didn't know anything about it until about 30 or 40 minutes before they got to the city limits. And I want to commend our police department and some of the road personnel for the job that they did in directing traffic. No city equipment was used, and no city employees were involved in the parade other than directing traffic. And they did a fantastic job. And the people that put on the parade were within their rights to do so. It's just like a funeral. Anytime there's something going on, our police department is supposed to make sure that the citizens are taken care of. So I want to personally commend our law enforcement and their effort for the job that they did. And as the last thing, I want to say that this epidemic is not over. I'm tired of it too, but I'm not tired enough to die. So I'm going to be safe and hope that everybody that's listening will be safe also. And have a good week.
That's a very interesting phrase. I don't know if I've ever heard of that one before. I'm not tired enough to die. It's very appropriate. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Horton, did you want to say anything relative to what Mr. Jones has said relative to the parade?
Mr. Jones did a pretty good job of covering it. We do have citizens in our community that own private decommissioned fire trucks, and that was the fire truck that was seen. Okay. There are no markings on the truck, and it was part of his rights as well.
Okay. But we will follow up relative to the notification process so that the city's always in the loop with our neighbors. And I know you told me
we'll certainly try, sir.
You're actively on that. We appreciate that. Okay. Anybody else before I just weigh in for a couple of comments? First of all, just really great about the library. My thanks to Judy and the whole team for getting that ready, Mr. Horton. That's exciting. And then I think Mr. Jones may have talked about it, a number of the other council members, but the governor did extend the executive order for another 30 days relative to the whole COVID emergency and the requirements for protecting yourself. And the spike has started, as you've seen the data. So we just have to stay true to the cause. And then the finishing touches have been done in front of the pavilion, and we had some citizens help with beautification in the planter areas, and I think those flowers will probably start to bloom here shortly. So it was great to have a concerted effort with the city and some of our citizens to beautify downtown. And our thanks to everyone for that. Okay, there is no executive session. And so if I could I have a motion for adjournment?
Move to adjourn, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Jones, Madam Clerk, could we go down the roster?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jones, post 1.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2. Councilmember
Mr.
Goodman,
Jones?
post 2.
Or Mr. Goodman?
Councilmember Gant, post 3.
Yay.
Councilmember Riley, post 4.
Yay.
Councilmember Rassi, post 5.
Yay.
Councilmember Williams, post 6.
Yay.
Councilmember Goodman, post 2.
Yay.
Mayor Morrissey?
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Madam Clerk, please mark that as unanimous. My thanks to the citizens for attending and to council members and staff and Mr. Coughlin for participating tonight in our St. Mary City Council meeting for November 2nd, which is also known as All Souls Day by many who celebrate that. And remember, and for November 2nd, 2020. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Be safe. And as you were reminded, tomorrow is Election Day, so please, if you can, get out and make your choice known. Thank you. Good evening.